Big announcement. Valentina Shevchenko, the current UFC flyweight champion of the world, is defending her title at UFC 315 in the co-main event, taking on the #1 ranked Manon Fiorot. Valentina Shevchenko is now on her second reign as champion, and her first reign was one of dominance. Everybody knows that Valentina is the greatest UFC flyweight champion, greatest flyweight of all time. It was 7 wins in a row as champion after beating Joanna, slaughtering Jessica Eye, and the world was witnessing just a spectacular fight. Coming in as a huge favorite, everybody knew that Valentina was going to win the fight. Nobody thought she was ever going to lose. Everybody thought that Valentina was going to come in there and just slaughter her opponents, and it was domination. It was domination from the second she got in the cage till the fight was over. Valentina Shevchenko slaughtered her opponents. She left no doubt she was going to continue to win until she met up with Talia Santos, winning a split decision, a really tough fight, and a woman who's no longer in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Sadly, Santos moved on. May 4th, 2023, she went out for her 8th title defense and faced Alexa Grasso. And in that fight, the most shocking thing happened. In the 4th round, Alexa Grasso submitted her by face crank. The world was just in shock. And I don't think anybody was more in shock than Valentina Shevchenko. You could tell by her expressions in that fight and after that fight that she didn't believe that she lost. In the rematch, Valentina Shevchenko thought she won the fight, went to a unanimous draw back in 2023. Eventually winning her title by unanimous decision, beating Grasso. It's a match that might go on. We might have to see more. Valentina Shevchenko didn't totally beat Grasso. It's 1-1 with a draw. It's still tied, but Valentina has the title, and she's taking on a new opponent. She's taking on Manon Fiorot, who so far in the Ultimate Fighting Championship has been completely dominant. It's been incredible what we've seen Manon Fiorot do in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. These two women are about the same age. Valentina is 36 years old. She's 1 year older. Fiorot has a record 12-1. She hasn't lost since her first fight to Leah McCourt, who is pretty good in Bellator and the PFL. In her last few fights, we've seen her really secure that #1 position, beating the former UFC strawweight champion of the world, Rose Namajunas, in Paris, in her home country of France, beating Erin Blanchfield in her last fight in a 5-rounder. It was the first time we saw her go 5 rounds. She did incredible. She looked great after the fight. She put her arms around her waist and said that she wants a title shot. When Fiorot faces the average fighters in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, she slaughtered them. She slaughtered Victoria Leonardo and Tabitha Ricci in her first 2 fights and really went up in the rank. As of now, it's been 5 decisions in a row. 5 decision fights in a row, beating Mayra Bueno Silva, Jennifer Maia, former Caitlin Chukagian, Rose Namajunas, and Erin Blanchfield. So 5 in a row, winning 7 in a row in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and winning 11 in a row overall, never being submitted or knocked out as a professional. I think that's pretty big going into this fight. Has been submitted as an amateur, which in my mind it counts. She knows what it feels like, but as a professional, hasn't been knocked out or submitted. So Valentina Shevchenko is going into a fight versus somebody who's pretty much unbeatable, and she can go 5 rounds. Valentina can also. Valentina is taking on another left-handed fighter here, 2 southpaws going at it, and 2 really great strikers. Manon is also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but we don't see that in the fights. We see her standing up. And if Manon Fiorot thinks she can knock you out, she'll stand flat-footed right in front of you and just throw power shots. But if she respects your striking, she's going to be light on her feet with her front leg forward. And I think that going into this fight, Valentina needs to take advantage of that because she knows that Manon Fiorot is going to fight like that. She fights with her head back really far, and her head is really hard to hit in a striking fight. I imagine 5 rounds of striking here. I don't really see this fight going on the ground. Valentina Shevchenko is a master in multiple disciplines as far as striking and judo, kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai. So Valentina has spent her whole life striking, and Manon Fiorot wasn't able to really turn professional. She came from a country where this was illegal. She's getting her big opportunity late in life. 35 years old, in my opinion, is late in life. And she's finally getting what she feels like she deserves, her big title shot. If she doesn't fight a good fight in this fight, I don't think that she's going to come back that quickly. I think Alexa Grasso is going to jump back in it. We're going to see that fight. So Manon, this is the biggest fight of her career, and she needs to do well. She really needs to convince everybody that she belongs. Even if she doesn't win this fight, she needs to go to a decision and really make it close. She needs to make an argument as to why she's on the top. Or she might shock the world in this fight and beat Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina in her last few fights didn't look like the Valentina of old. In the Talia Santos fight, it was the first time we actually saw Valentina tested. Every great fighter needs to be tested, and it's how they come from out of that adversity that really makes them great. And Valentina has done that, but she's getting another tough fighter, and you gotta question, is she gonna have a hard time in this fight, or is this gonna be like a Jessica I fight for her, where she knocks her out almost instantly? And I think it's gonna be a tough fight. I think that Manon Fiorot is really good, and I think this division has become even better. I think the division's maturing, and I think that this is gonna be a great fight. Now, I'm going to pick Valentina to win this fight. I have a lot of confidence in Valentina from watching her fight all these years, but I think it's going to be a tough fight for her. And the real question mark here is this fight going to go down to the ground? Is Valentina Shevchenko going to take her down on the ground? We saw Manon Fiorot just flip Erin Blanchfield onto her head. She's incredibly powerful, incredibly built. She's was a top-level snowboarder, and she's just an all-around great athlete, and so is Valentina. So I look forward to this fight. I think it's going to be an insane war, and I think that Valentina Shevchenko is going to have her hand raised at the end.